before I forget. Introduce Miss Alyssa over here. For those of you who don't know her, me and her met at UPW, which is, if you're not familiar with that, Unleash the Power Within, which I've talked about the last like 3 calls. Since I've gotten back, it's like all I talk about because it's awesome.
Right.
But we met,
Yeah,
we ended up sitting next to each other and hung out the entire time. So she's awesome. We're both going to kind of share like our takeaways and just kind of our mindset, I guess, on things. If that's how, I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but I'm going to just say that. Our mindset on like how things have changed or how our mindsets have changed since we've gotten back. So Alyssa, I'll let you start and then I'll kind of chime in and go from there.
I had 3 main takeaways that I pulled out of it that I wanted to share, and it goes into like some of the stories that he shared with us just to kind of give you context to it. But I think the biggest takeaway has the most potential to be the most powerful in both our personal lives and in our coaching businesses is morning routine and starting your morning off the right way. So this is obviously going to mean different things for different people. Everyone's morning routine will look different, but what everyone should be doing when you start your morning is focusing on mindset. So when we start our days off in the right mindset and with the right attitude, we're giving ourselves total power over the rest of the day and increasing our energy in a positive way. And that carries into your business. People can tell when you are like happy and high energy versus if you woke up stressed and anxious and like already overwhelmed. That carries into your conversations with people. So you're going to attract more people to you when you are truly happy and high energy. And that does take practice and it takes work, but some things that you can do is the first thing is to make a schedule and to really stick to it. Not just on some days, not just when you sleep well. And this is something that I have struggled with a lot. And so for me, that's why it was the biggest takeaway too, because he talks about this 2 millimeter difference. And they talked about this on one of our national wake up calls recently too. It was like the 1 degree difference, I think is what they called it. But when you look at these super successful top 10 elite $1 million earner coaches, they're not doing anything drastically different than what we are doing. It's just a small 2 millimeter difference. And what that tends to be is making a plan, sticking to it, and sticking to it no matter what, no questions asked, not negotiable every single day. So some of the things you can do to help you with that is get out of bed as soon as your alarm goes off and physically move. So like put your alarm and get up and move and go turn it off and then go into your morning routine. And before you start scrolling your phone, start with gratitude. So one of the things that he had us do a lot is he would have us like sit there and close our eyes and express things that we're grateful for and have them build on each other. So every morning, if you start your day with gratitude, it's impossible to express gratitude and feel fear and anxiety at the same time. So if you're expressing gratitude, whatever anxieties you have, whatever fears you have, they're going to dissipate in that moment. And it's going to allow you to really focus your energy on what goals you have for yourself and what you want to accomplish. And so that kind of creates a tool for you to use throughout the day. So if you feel that fear and anxiety creeping in through your business or through your conversations with people, you can stop and remember, okay, what did I express gratitude for this morning? Let me feel that again.
I love that. I do. And y'all, like part of, I know some of you have read Miracle Morning, and if you haven't, it's pretty much what he does. So like if Mr. Tony Robbins, who is a billionaire, like I don't even know, like triple, quadruple billionaire, who like flies around on jets for his job, because that's what he does, literally just travels everywhere, does like Miracle Morning, like he says, him and the guy that also talked, Joseph, like they're both very, very successful business owners, multi-million-dollar companies, right? Or billion-dollar companies, and they said they sleep for 4 hours. That's it. So if you're like, oh, I need more sleep, right? Like, no, you really don't. You really don't. Like, Your body physically, like you might, the reason why, and like I relate to this a lot because he was like, oh, well, you know, so many people, you know, people say like, I need sleep. So they sleep for 9 hours and they wake up and they're still exhausted, right? Like how many of you have done that? I do that
Yeah.
still. And it's because your body is not energized. Like you don't have energy in you. So you think, okay, well, I need more sleep to get more energy. That's not necessarily the truth. You have to change your state. You have to like wake up, like Alyssa was just saying, and get excited, get moving, exercise, which is a huge part of it. Fuel your body properly. If you're
Right.
doing that, and you're doing it consistently over time, I'm not saying you only can sleep for 4 hours and be, you know, to be successful. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying here is like wake up earlier and do some me time, because that is going to be the thing that sets you apart. That is what the top coaches are doing. They might not be waking up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., but they're getting up earlier or they're staying up later to like focus on themselves, right? So do that in the morning. But he basically does miracle morning. So like he does his gratitude priming exercise is what he calls it, which I posted on our team page last week. The video of that, and basically he like sits in silence and he like meditates, but he does this like, he puts his hands up and he like pulls down and he like does this breathing. And if you watch the video or even like listen to the video, then you're gonna know what I'm talking about. But he does this thing where he pulls down and then he sits and he walks you through it. So do it. Like go to that link, and I'll post it again tonight. But go to that link and like do it in the morning and see how you feel. I've been doing it every morning since I've gotten back, and like I can tell you, it like sets my tone for the day. It really does.
Yeah, it also just makes you feel more confident. Like even though it's not really about confidence, and he doesn't talk about confidence, like it just instills that like, okay, I got this in you as you're doing it.
Yeah, it's really an awesome exercise. So highly recommend that. But he also talks like in the morning, he says he does his priming, he does like his basic routine, which could be for you, it might be a little bit different, but like focusing on you first, focusing on like filling, and which we've talked about multiple times, like filling your cup. You cannot help other people if you haven't helped yourself first. You can't be a good mom if you haven't helped yourself first. You can't be a good boss or student or worker or whatever. Like you can't be your best self if you're not for other people, if you're not your best self for you. And I know that that's hard sometimes because, you know, we've got families and lives and whatnot that we're like, oh, well, we have to hurry up and get to because this world is so like quickly moving. But if you wake up 30 minutes earlier, y'all, or even 10 minutes earlier, like get in a 10-minute ritual, routine, however you want to call it, in the morning, because it makes a difference. So yeah, I loved that. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No. I had a feeling, that's why I paused. And then I had two other parts that go with that morning routine too. And you can choose to do one of these or all three of them if you have time, but just to give you different ideas, or you can mix it up each morning. But the next thing is to set intentions for your day. And this is all before you've even picked up your phone, because once you pick up your phone and you start scrolling through social media and stuff, you're going to be like, oh my God, what did I miss while I was sleeping? And what is this person doing? And what is that person doing? And it's instantly already in another world. And it's hard to pull that focus back into yourself as much as we want to. So that's why it's important to do this first thing when you wake up, when you haven't been exposed to like the comparison game yet of what has everybody else been up to. So the next part of that is to set intentions for your day and to think about, what do you want to accomplish today? What do you want to feel like today? What message do you want to give to people today? And how do you want to make people feel who are looking at your social media, who are looking at your posts and stuff like that? And what actions can you take to do that? So by setting those intentions first thing, and I write them down in the notes section of my phone, because then I do a gut check every now and then throughout the day. And I'm like, okay, these were the intentions I set this morning. Have I done anything to work towards them yet? No. Oh crap, I better start, because this is what I wanted to do as soon as I woke up. And so in the moment, we have all these great ideas. And then as the day goes on, we tend to get distracted. So it's a really good way to rein yourself back in, because you've already had that moment in the morning to set yourself up for that. And you've already written it down. And also going along with that is intentions and affirmations. So your intentions are going to lead to things that you want. And things that you want lead to affirmations. And one of the things that we learned there is when you use your affirmations, your I am statements, turn into reality. So whatever you say you are, you are. So you have to speak it as if it's already happened and it's already in your life. So like, I am a superstar diamond coach. I am a 6-figure earner. I am a successful entrepreneur and easily bring value into people's lives. Those are I want turned into I am, as if it's already happened, and to just keep repeating that. And even to walk around while you're saying it to yourself, or walk around while you're reading it to yourself or thinking it, because doing that physical action, moving while you're doing that, actually ingrains it into your nervous system. So it's not just like this fleeting thought, but it's actually going into your core, like on a physical level, so that you believe it more and so that you take action on it.
Yeah, one thing that stood out to me too that he said is it really like he hones in on your um physiology, so like you getting up and moving. Like there was a statistic, and I don't remember the numbers, but he basically was saying that like they tested like kids who learn in like a active state, like kids that are moving around and learning, opposed to kids just sitting in a desk, and the ones that were moving around actually learned it and remembered more than the kids just sitting at a desk. So if you're listening to PD, y'all, and I know you might think it's going in one ear and out the other if you're like going for a walk or if you're doing something. I mean, I want to do something that requires you to think like in terms of like, don't try and do a math problem and do PD, right? But like, if you're like loading the dishwasher or like today I took my dog for a walk, which is a whole nother story, but I took my dog for a walk and, while I was walking her, I was listening to PD. It doesn't require me to think much while I'm walking her. So it was just, I got that in. So if you can get in your PD, like, and move or anything and move around, like try and do that. If you're listening to the National Wake Up Call, try and move around, move your body, because you're going to actually retain it more and learn it. Like it's getting ingrained more in your system. So I did like that a lot.
Yes. And then I have, so you've done your morning routine. Great. So you're in this great mindset, and kind of what next? How do you translate that into your business all day? How do you convert it to new coaches and new challengers? And he told us a couple of stories. I'm just going to say one of them, but one of the things that he says is you need to turn your worst day into your best day. And one of the things that Tony focused on a lot was giving back and serving others without expecting anything in return, and how that actually, as crazy as it sounds, like it really benefits your business as well too, because you're filling yourself up, you're feeling fulfilled, and you're giving back to people. And so it puts this like positive energy out there. But there's this man who came on stage and spoke to us, and his name was Mike Melio, and he had been a volunteer through these series of events. He had been a volunteer crew member at the Tony Robbins events, and he had been doing this for years and years. So after a while, Tony noticed him and heard his story, and that's how he ended up on stage speaking to us. But he told us this story about, he is from like this small, like really poor town, and he wasn't really going anywhere. He was homeless. He had this job. It was answering phones, I think, like, or making cold calls for like sales, like a telemarketer. I think that's what it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Telemarketer, yeah. And so he's making these calls, and this girl comes in, and he's in no place really. He's homeless, and so she comes in and she's having issues too. And so he finds out that she is actually a drug addict. And so he helps her get cleaned up, and he found out that she left home when she was really young and just never looked back because like she's stubborn and whatever the situation was. So he convinced her to go back home after he took care of her, cleaned her up, got her clean. It was like, go back home to your family. Like, they can help you. And he did that just because he wanted to help her, because it was the right thing to do. And then a little bit later, he gets this phone call, and it happens to be from her dad. And her dad is so ecstatic, and he's like, oh my gosh, like, you made my baby come home. I haven't seen her in so long, and she's still so young. And so he was so grateful that he set him up with this huge business opportunity, to the point where he loaned him money to start this business, and it just exploded, this scrap metal business. And now he's a multi-millionaire. speaking at Tony Robbins events because he's so successful. And it just came from him having a good heart and wanting to serve somebody else and take care of somebody else and do the right thing. And that fulfilled him if that was it. But then on top of it, it opened up these other connections. So by just being a good person and going out and volunteering or serving in your community or just doing something bigger than what you do as a coach, you're going to be helping so many more people. You're going to be reaching so many people, and you never know who you're going to meet or like what situation or opportunity that's going to put you in. So it's win-win all around. So that was a big takeaway that I took from that as well.
Yeah. And he said something that I thought was really awesome too, and I put like a bunch of stars and underlined it. And it said, trade your expectations to appreciation and your whole life's going to change. So I'll repeat that. Trade your expectations to appreciation and your whole life's going to change. So if you're expecting something out of your team, if you're expecting something out of a challenger, if you're expecting something out of, even if it has nothing to do with your business, your husband or your spouse or your friends or whatever it is, change that expectation to appreciation. Like, what are you grateful for from those people? What do you appreciate they have done for you or that they give to your life, right? And once you start shifting that mindset, your whole life's going to change, because again, what you're putting out there, that energy you're putting out there of being grateful is going to come back to you in return. And you just can't go into something expecting anything. Like, that's what we say all the time. Go add free value on your page. Go add free value in your groups. If someone reaches out to you and they can't afford it, don't just be like, okay, bye. Like, help them anyway. I'm not telling you to pour your heart and soul and 20 hours a day into them. I'm not telling you to do that. But if you can at least give them something to where they're like, man, this, like, she's helping me, and I haven't even given her any money. I haven't even like invested in her, but she's still willing to at least give me the time of day, or like not just blow me off, right? Like, they're going to appreciate it. They're going to come back and they're going to be like, okay, well, she helped me when I couldn't afford it, and now that I can, like, I'm going to reach out to her, right? So, get them in your groups, or at least like get them some type of meal plan or something to where you can add value to their lives. Because if you're helping people and you're putting that out there, it's going to come back to you in return. Anything else, Alyssa, that you want to add?
Yes. So I had just one more, and this is like not mindset at all. This is totally just business and marketing strategy. And I was debating about talking about this, but then I've been seeing it in my team page, in my uplines team page, and I've been seeing it in other emails like coming to me. So I was like, okay, obviously I have to talk about this now, because this is like my sign, my validation or whatever, that it's important. But one of the things they talked about is there's the market in anything you do online, because online business is taking off. Like, anyone who's smart is in some kind of internet business right now. And we're so used to people sending like, hey girl messages, or this is my sale messages, or these perfect images with this perfect background and this perfect like type with it. But because it used to work, and so people are still doing it, but because it's so saturated in that now, people are seeing perfection and they're like, this girl is fake, and they're scrolling on. So one of the things that was a new idea for me, at least, was to use video and just do like little 20-second video clips to reach out to people. And this is maybe the first time you're reaching out to somebody. It's just a quick like, hey, this is why, or like, this is a connection we have, or this is, I'm just introducing myself. Or you can do it as a follow-up. So like what I've been doing today, just to give you a real life example of it, is for my follow-ups, instead of sending messages just like, hey, I just wanted to follow up, I know you were interested before, I made this little 20-second video, and it was like, hey, I hope you're having a great day. I know you were interested in health and fitness before, and there's all these Cyber Monday deals. Do you want more information on what I'm doing? And it's like me saying it. I've got my hedgehog in my hand. If you have pets, have them running around. If you have kids, have them running around. Be like real in your sweats. Don't be posed with a backdrop, because that's what people are like, okay, she's staged, she's trying to sell me something, versus just like raw and real and authentic, as my hedgehog walks out of his cage. And like they're saying to have that, even if you have a website or if you send out emails, don't just type it all out, but have your voice giving a message to somebody, because they're going to connect with that over just reading another script that they probably read 6 times that day.
Yeah, and one of the things that they also like, and this kind of goes with that, you know, if you, instead of you like typing out the challenge pack deal, like, oh, you get, you know, this and this, and it breaks down to this cost, like, make a quick video, y'all. First of all, it'll
Yeah.
save you a ton of time. So if you sit there and you're like, I don't have time to message people or to talk to people, it'll save you a ton of time. Now, I'm not saying to go send out a link to, hey, Maddie, to everybody that, you know, you've ever talked to, and be like, here's our challenge pack deal. Like, no, have a conversation. But if you have people who are very interested, who actually like are saying like, yes, I would love more information on your groups, or hey, can you send me more information about your boot camp, or whatever it is you're doing, don't just send them a long message, or even nowadays, like even a voice message. And I actually was going to, I wrote this down somewhere, I saw this somewhere, which this can kind of tell you, kind of goes with this. So this is part of our book that we got while we were there. And it says, words represent 70%, words represent 7% of what actually influences human behavior. So like it used to, way back when, not even that long ago, it used to be words were what attracted people. Like that's why they had, you know, all these, like when you're telling your story, like that used to work. And not that you can't tell your story, but like long paragraphs, like no one wants to read that anymore. Okay. It's not going to influence anyone to sign up with you if you're like doing like, you know, 50 paragraphs of your story. Voice qualities represent 38% of what influences another human being. Or in other words, how you use your voice will affect someone more than what you say. So that's another reason why I'm saying don't just like send a typed message. If worse comes to worse and you're not comfortable with video, which you're never going to get comfortable if you never do it. But if you're absolutely not comfortable with video, like that makes you want to have a panic attack and you're like, I can't do that. And you're more comfortable sending a voice message, that is going to work more than, like that's going to influence someone or speak to someone more than just you typing out a message, right? Because they can hear your voice, they can hear your excitement, or they can hear right through that and say, wow, she sounded like miserable. Or she didn't sound like, you know, if you're having a bad day, like don't send a voice message like when you're right after you get off a fight with your husband, because they're going to be able to hear in your tone, whether you're faking it or not, they'll be able to hear it. I promise you. They'll be able to hear it. So like if you're aggravated or whatever, something pisses you off and you're about to send a voice message, like jump up and down, put on some dance music, dance it out, like change your state, change that attitude, and like get happy again before you send that voice message. And then physiology represents 55% of the way, and that the way you use your body represents the majority of what actually influences people. So this was one of the big things that I got from his conference, because he talks a lot about like when you're upset or when you're just like tired or you're not motivated or whatever, like you're just not happy, you're not in a good mood. Normally your shoulders are down, your head's down, you feel like meh, like you're not excited, you're not sitting up straight, you're not perky, like you're not happy. Your body language says everything. So if you're gonna do a video, or if you're gonna go meet someone for coffee or whatever, you know, whatever, if they can physically see you, make sure if you get on a live video for your team call, your team page, your challenge groups, like don't be sitting all slouched and be like, hey guys, super excited for today. Like they're gonna be able to tell. And they're gonna be like, okay, this girl's supposed to motivate me? Like, why would I want to sign up with her? And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be, you know, makeup and like full background. And I never wear makeup. I don't ever put on makeup. So I'm not going to just put on makeup for a live video. Like it kills me when I see these girls that are like lipstick and like, and they, most of the time they're not wearing any of that. I'm like, what are you doing? Like you never wear lipstick. Why all of a sudden you like threw on lipstick for a live video? Like who cares what you look like? I don't care if your kids run around in the background in their underwear. I mean, make sure that they can't see anything, but you know what I mean? Like, that's relatable. That's relatable because people are going to relate to you and relate to that, because there's other moms with their kids running around in the background with their underwear, you know, on top of their head. I don't know, like make it relatable. But I just think it's crazy nowadays how things are shifting again. Like it used to be all about in person. Then it kind of shifted to social media. And I'm not saying you can't share your story on social media or you can't use words to influence people, but that statistic right there, words represent 7%, voice qualities represent 38%, and physiology represents 55%. So your body language and people physically seeing you and physically hearing you and seeing your demeanor and seeing your posture. And again, you don't have to sit up like all fancy, but like just like a normal person, get excited, right? If I came on these team calls and I was like, hey guys, like we're gonna have a team call tonight. I hope y'all are really excited. Like that is not gonna excite you, right? But if I'm like, hey guys, all right, y'all excited about tonight's team call? Like it's so different. It's so different because I'm excited. I lunged forward. We actually did exercises with me and Alyssa did exercises with one another because we partnered up, and like they like we had to get in a non-peak state, so like a state where we're kind of upset or we're kind of down and like we're kind of shy, and we noticed physically how our bodies changed when we're sad and when we're talking to someone and we're like not happy or whatever. Like again, your shoulders are down, like you're more timid, your voice is lower, you might like hesitate to say something. It's pretty much we pretended like we were like selling them something, but we did it in two different states. So we did it in like a not excited state and then a very excited state, and like we were obnoxious with it, but it helped us realize like you don't realize, even if you're you're like, oh, I'm happy, but like you're not, you're just kind of sitting down, or you're like maybe like something pissed you off earlier and you're just kind of like meh, and whatever, it's Monday, it's Monday. Like people can see that in your pictures. If you aren't going to do a video, people can tell. So make sure like you start noticing these things, and it takes practice. It's going to take practice, because I catch myself. Like the other day I was aggravated and I was trying to like talk to somebody about joining my team, and like the whole time I was sitting like this and I was just like, I was typing it out, I was sending voice messages, and I couldn't even, like once I realized what I was doing, I was like, oh shit, like I need to get happy again. So I like wiggled it out, I like jump up and down, I put on some music, and like immediately I could hear in my voice completely changed. So I did like that aspect of things, and I thought that making a video, and I've done this before, but it was way longer I think they said 20 to like 90 seconds maximum. 90 seconds maximum, because after that, people are they're tuned out. They're not going to watch a longer than 90-second video. So if you are going to make a video about a challenge pack, or maybe about your challenge groups, like explain what they are, or about joining your team or whatever it might be, 90 seconds max. And then save it to a YouTube link to where you can send that to them, or save it on your phone to where you can really quick send that to them instead of sending a voice message or a text or typed message. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
If you want to, because the ones I did for today, you can like customize them or tailor them to like make any kind of invitation out of them. But I did a series of 3. The first one is 20 seconds. The second one is like 40 seconds. And the next one's 1.5 minutes. And it takes them through the entire like invitation process in those 3 videos. So when they say yes to one, I send them the next. When they say yes to that, I send them the last one. And those are the enrollment options. So I can send those if you guys want to see them. You can post them in your team page just so you like have an idea.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Would y'all want to see those? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I've acted, like I said, I've made a video about my challenge groups, but I tend to babble, if you can't tell. I tend to talk a lot. So I have to like tie myself, and y'all practice. Yeah. No video is awkward. I get all the time, I'm scared to go live. I'm scared to make a video. I forget what I'm going to say. Like make bullet points. I don't know if y'all have been watching me and Ashley when we go live together, but like normally, today we didn't, but we try and make bullet points just so like, and we have it, I have this little dry erase board, and you stick it behind to where you can see it, and just, don't read off of it, but like make little points if you feel like you're going to forget something. And guess what? If you forget something, it's okay. If you stumble, if you like stutter, if you say the wrong word, if you like, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect's better than done. Okay. So I'm going to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone of sending messages and voice messages even, and maybe make a little video, just a series like Alyssa did, and start inviting that way. Start following up that way. Start engaging that way. You know, I wouldn't like send a video saying like, hey, haven't talked to you in a while. What are you up to? Like, I would maybe tweak that a little bit. But you know, if someone likes your stuff instead of being like, hey, thanks for liking my stuff, like send a video and talk to them, like have a conversation. People, I feel like are over, like I've said this multiple times too, they're over Facebook, they're over social media because it's so like people are getting so caught up in it and it's negative most of the time. It might be positive on y'all's because y'all are friends with a bunch of Beachbody coaches, but I can promise you that majority of the world's Facebook feed is not positive. It's not happy. It's not like what we see. I don't really see negativity because again, I'm friends with like a bazillion Beachbody coaches who are all posting silly selfies. So like that's all I see. But majority of Facebook is not like that. So people are starting to get away from it, and they're starting to get away from like they're over the sales. They're over that stuff. So like stop trying to sell and just be you and share your journey. Like get back to the basics of just sharing your journey, and do it in a different way. That makes sense. Okay. Anything else, Alyssa, that you wanted to add in?
That covers everything that I had.
Okay. There's a few things here that I wanted to go over. Let's see. One of the things, one of the other things that I took away was like fear. Because I know a lot of people, everyone has fears. But like what stops us from moving forward in anything, in business, in a relationship, in fixing something that we know needs to be fixed is fear. Like that's the number one thing that's holding everyone back from whatever they want to achieve. And I feel like a lot of people let fear hold them back from achieving their dreams because they don't think that they're going to be able to do it, or they're going to fail at it or whatever it might be. So the thing that stops people from moving forward is fear. And then there are two primary fears that all human beings share. Two. That's it. I know it sounds crazy, right? The two is that we're not enough and we won't be loved. And a lot of times, like you might say, oh, well, my fear is failing. Okay, well, like, why are you afraid to fail? What is that going to mean? You know, like, usually it's going to mean, well, that I'm not enough, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy enough. Or it's going to mean, well, if I fail, then I'm not going to get love. I'm not going to get love in return. Maybe, you know, he used this example, and I thought that this was kind of interesting. Like he said, you know, when a baby walks, right? A baby starts walking, you don't like, yeah, like it's exciting because they just started walking, right? But you don't continue to like show them praise after they've walked like 30 times, right? You're just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, you walk. They know how to walk now. So you kind of like push that to the side. But when a baby falls, you like immediately go after it because you're like, oh, like you're comforting it. And that's kind of how we start to learn, like, okay, if I get hurt, I'm going to be loved, right? If I do well at something, I'm going to be loved and then we show love. And so he said that they did like these tests and different experiments, not them, but a research company, just to see how people start to learn their beliefs, start to learn their fears, start to learn like how they're going to receive love and give love and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was interesting. But those are the two like main fears that everyone has is we're not enough and we won't be loved. So if you shift that mindset into like what you believe, like, and it's hard because he did all these exercises because the thing is like your beliefs aren't really your beliefs. They're your parents' beliefs or the people that you grew up around's beliefs or the people you're currently hanging out with beliefs because, you know, I mean, most of the time you're around people that you are like, you know, it was that saying like the 5 people you hang out with most is who you become or who you're like. And it's because like, that's just how life is, right? You start hanging out with people, they start talking a certain way, they start saying certain things, and you kind of fall into the trap of believing what they believe, but that's really not necessarily your beliefs. And I don't know, like a lot of that for me hit home because, you know, I grew up in a traditional, I guess, life, traditional family, I guess. Other than my parents being divorced, like I went to school, and then I was going to high school, and then I was going to college. Like that was like laid out for me because that's what I was told I had to do, which was fine. I don't regret it. But like I look back and I'm like, okay, well, I know people that didn't go to college that were fine. Like they're making more money than I am, and I have a college degree. So like, what the heck does that mean? Right? So I just want you to start being more aware of like what you truly believe, what you truly want out of your life. Because the only thing that's holding you back is fear. It's the only thing that's holding you back. It's either fear of, I mean, it could be other fears besides not feeling loved and not being enough, but those are like the two main things that most humans, like that's the two main fears that most human beings have. But you know, it can be other things too. Like that might not be the only thing that you're afraid of. And then another thing that he did, which I like too, or that he talked about, is that like why we do what we do. So there's 6 human needs that all humans have, and it's the reason why they do what they do. There's 4 primal needs and then 2 spiritual needs. The 4 primal needs is certainty. So everybody wants stability about their basic necessities. So they want to know that they're going to get food. They want to know that they're going to have shelter. They want to know, you know, when people cannot control their physical circumstances, they may seek certainty through a state of mind, such as like religion or positivity. The second one is uncertainty or variety. So a lot of people, some people get bored really easily, and they feel, and I'm like this, they feel like they always need change. They always need change to make their needs met, to have their needs met. So people have a need to change their state, to exercise their body and emotions. They seek variety through a number of means, stimuli, change of scenery, physical activity, entertainment, food, right? Like we don't always want to eat the same thing all the time. So uncertainty, variety, significance is the third. So everybody needs to feel special and important in some way. People will seek significance through obtaining recognition from others or from themselves. When they feel insignificant, they may make themselves feel significant by getting angry. They may also meet their needs by having others recognize the significance of their insignificance, which I thought was very interesting. And then the 4th primal need is connection and love. So everyone wants to feel some type of connection with other people, some type of love with someone else. And then the 2 spiritual needs is growth and contribution. So growth is everything in the universe is either growing or dying. That was one of the things he said. There is no third alternative. So you're either growing or you're dying. And that kind of hit home with me, or hit hard with me, because I was like, man, like that's true. Like you're either growing in your business or your business is dying. You're either growing in your life or you're slowly dying. And you know, that can be changed. Like you control that vessel. You control whether you grow or die. So I thought that was interesting. And then contribution, just as people cannot survive without others contributing in some way, like a baby cannot grow up on its own. You can't stick a baby in the woods and like expect it to survive. It needs some type of contribution from other people. So they had those needs. Again, it's certainty, uncertainty, significance, connection and love, growth, and contribution. And he made us like go through like to figure out what we do to get those things. So like, what are ways you get certainty? What are ways you get uncertainty? And he had us like lay out like both positive and negative sides of those. So like the way that I get, just for an example, the way that I get certainty is like through my workouts, through friendships, being around my family. The negative way that I get certainty is from food or work. Sometimes I like throw myself into work because I don't want to think about everything else going on. Or when I get stressed out, I just kind of like, I don't know, I like turn to work, which is not always a healthy thing. And then he goes through what are the ways you get significance and love and connection. And then he has you pick 2 that you've been valuing the most. And he wants you to write, like he has you write down the consequences of valuing those needs. Because most of them do have consequences. Like mine is, variety and uncertainty and significance are my two most valued, but that's not necessarily what I need to be happy. So I just found that very, very interesting. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I mean, there's a lot that I took from this, but I could talk to you all night about it. A lot of the other stuff that he talked about, which I really enjoyed, but I'm not gonna like go through all of it, is he talked a lot about like energy and how your energy really is like, so energy is health. So if you can't be healthy if you don't have energy, and you control your energy, whether you think it or not. Like I said earlier, people think like, oh, I need sleep to be energized, and that's not necessarily true. And I know, for example, like I was thinking about this the other day, like, oh, it was so easy for me to wake up every morning and get up really early to go to UPW because I was excited, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's really easy to not get any sleep during Summit because you're like constantly going and you're excited and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go to this workout, and you'll wake up bright and early to go work out with Sean T, right? Live, to go see him live, because you're like, man, I want to go see that sexy man in person. I need to go. I need to be in front row. I'm going to get up really early. Like, you jump out of bed, right? Like, or if maybe like it's your wedding day and you're excited, like the night before you can barely sleep because you're just like pumped up. So you like wake up super early, right? It's so easy because we have that energy inside because we're so pumped up. We're so excited. Whereas, typical work day, or when you got to go press play on your living room in front of Sean T, you're not so excited to get up, right? You're like, man, I don't have the energy. I need to sleep longer. But that's just because you control your energy. You control if you're excited to get up and get moving, opposed to like, man, it's just a typical Monday, right? Like, so that is all about setting you control your energy. So if you are feeling, and notice your body, y'all, it's normally a physiology, I don't know what the word is, physical state, I guess, that you're sitting in. Like, get excited, jump up and down, dance, literally put on dance music. I've been doing it. I've been dancing before Tony Robbins, but if y'all watch my Instagram stories, every morning I'm dancing in the morning, like every morning, because it starts my day. It starts me moving, and that picks up my energy for the day. So that way, when I do go live, or when I do, and I'm not telling you I'm always happy, but like I've learned to master my emotions, or master my state. And so I noticed like he's got this 90-second rule where you can change your state in 90 seconds. You can go from being completely pissed off, completely like you just want to punch someone in the face, to changing your state to being like crying tears of joy because you're so thankful and you're so happy. And it all starts with you like pumping yourself up, you breaking the pattern. So like, stop thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about. Stop letting other people's words, if that's what got to you, like whatever it is, break that pattern. So step away from it. Go walk outside. Go feel grass. Like he talked about how nature is a huge way to break your pattern, a huge way to like get in tune with your energy. And that's, touching grass, literally going and touching the grass. Just go touch it, because it's going to help you change, feeling your senses. Smell something that smells good. Like things like that will completely change and shift just 2 millimeters, but it will shift your whole state. And you can go from being mad to completely excited and energy and happy and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting. But he took a whole day for health, y'all. Like, so obviously to him, health is a huge thing. Health is a huge part of success, which is awesome for us because we're in the health business. So, like use that, take that as a sign. Like, okay, health obviously is like a huge part of success in life. It's not just, the health part. It's not just the weight part or how much you weigh or how much you can lift, right? It trickles down into every aspect of your life, your relationships, your business, everything. So that's really all I got. Anything else that you want to say, Alyssa? Does anyone have questions? I know that was like a lot that we just like threw out there, but those are the things that I took.
On the health thing too, just something ever since I've been noticing this, because I follow a lot of different entrepreneurs in different industries. So not Beachbody coaches, sometimes not even coaches, just successful women entrepreneurs in whatever it is that they do. And I follow them just because I think it's very interesting to see what other people who are already successful are doing, so I can implement it into what I'm doing as well. And one of the things I've been noticing, there's a couple different podcasts that I listen to by these women, and ever since I've been back, every single one of them at one point or another has mentioned how physical health and fitness is vital to being a successful entrepreneur. And these are people not in the health and fitness industry at all. And so they're recognizing that, and they're preaching it to their following and their clients, having no interest, like money interest in the health and fitness industry. They're preaching this to their followers too, that if you want to be successful in business, you need to make your physical health a priority. And so I think that's really interesting too, and that's something that we can pull from and piggyback on to kind of like enhance what we're doing, because here's all these successful people out there preaching to their following, you need to be physically fit and healthy if you want to be successful in business. Well, that's where we come in, and that's where we can connect with them and pick up on it. So I've been going to these like successful female business entrepreneurs, and I've been connecting with their following, because their following is not currently interested in health and fitness, but they're getting that message from their leader. So I'm going to connect with them. And so that's a way to pose it too, is go find these people who want to be successful in business, who might not have an interest in health and fitness already, and show them how it can enhance them as a businesswoman.
I love that. Great
Yeah.
idea. And Alyssa, just so y'all know, Alyssa is like Instagram queen, and she is going to, I asked her if she would do an Instagram training
Yeah.
for our team, and she said she would love to, which is like super awesome, because if you're on Instagram, it can be super frustrating if you have no idea what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of people are kind of, again, like going back and forth between Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all this other stuff. But if you are already on Instagram, even if you're not, you can learn from her. But I've been focusing on Instagram as well as Facebook. I still am on Facebook, but I'm connecting with it's, I think, a lot easier to connect with people on Instagram. It's not as awkward because people want you to follow them. So it's not like you're just friend requesting random people.
Right.
They want that. They want a following. So, if you follow them and you're engaging on their pages and they're engaging back, like, you kind of have that connection. So she's going to teach us all about Instagram. But yeah, thank you so much, Alyssa, for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Does anyone have questions about anything in terms of what we talked about? I think that, I wrote down some books that he suggested, and of course, The Talent Code was one of them, and I'll post these two on our team page. I haven't read any of these, so I don't know if I mean, Tony Robbins read them, so I feel like they're great. The Talent Code, and I don't know the author. Taboo Words was another one. He talked about like how much I know 7%, only 7% of words can get people on board or get people like going with it. But words can also affect taboo words, like words that most people don't use or don't say. And it's crazy because the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, when I talk about the Diva Cup, which is like so like, I mean, I don't think it's taboo, but most people are like, oh, you can't talk about periods on Facebook. Like, you can't talk about that. When I talk about poop, like when I talk about taking a, poop about Shakeology, like people, like, I get like flocks of people, and I'm like, oh, so when I talk about this, y'all come. But when I talk about, other things, it's like silent crickets, right? And it's those words. When I curse, and I'm not cursing because I know that there's a child right there. But when I say the SHIT word, like everyone and their mom is like, messaging me or whatever. But like using taboo words, using words that are not the basic, like, oh, I took a duty today. Like, it's just going to help. It's going to help you set yourself apart, but also like people associate feelings to words too. And a lot of people might not like when you curse, but it helps you break that pattern. I'm not telling you have to curse if you don't curse, but I'm just saying, there's a book called Taboo Words that he talks about, which I thought was interesting too. And again, I haven't read that, so I don't know. And there was one other one that I saw earlier, and I was like, oh, I need to. And I wrote down, like, anytime he said anything about a book, I was like, book, really big with his, which, yeah, I don't know. But I'll look it up and I'll post it in the team page. Anyone have any questions or anything? So Alyssa's going to share her videos, and I'm actually going to work on mine tomorrow because I do want to make some. I just haven't had the time, to be honest. But I will make mine tomorrow and kind of share those with y'all. And again, y'all leave them on your phone or add them to a YouTube channel, and you can keep them, like, anytime I do that, I keep them unlisted so that no one can find them. Like, I have to send them the link to find them. So it's not like, oh, I don't know if y'all have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel, but I don't really, like, use it other than for team calls. So I keep my, like, the private ones that I don't want people just, like, stumbling across, which, I mean, if you want them to stumble across it, then that's great. But if not, then that's great too. Up to you. But I'll post mine tomorrow once I get them done. So anyone have questions? No? Yes, maybe so. Alyssa, what is, if someone is interested in Tony Robbins going to an event, what would you say?
Why haven't you gone yet?
Go.
But really, like, this opportunity was gifted to me, like, by a weird series of events. And I can't imagine, like, even though I haven't been back that long, I can't imagine my life having not gone. And it sounds crazy because it was 4 days and I'm still the same person. Like, it's not like I drank the Kool-Aid and I came back a whole different person, you know, like people say. I just came back like my true authentic self. And I think that's what is a huge misconception about it, is people think you're going to come back this whole new person and nobody in your life is going to like you anymore because you're totally different. But I'm the same person. I'm just more me. And I think that's like the coolest thing.
Yeah, I agree. And my mind is so clear, like,
Yeah,
so clear on, like, what I want out of my life and
everything.
what success means to me. And it's, you know, not just with Beachbody, but like life in general. So everyone has the opportunity to go. I mean, even if you are like, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't even know what it is, like, go look it up, find a way to make it happen. Find a way to make it happen because it will change your life.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thanks for getting on, y'all. What's next week? I don't even know. Oh, Christmas brain already. Next week is the 4th already? No, the 3rd. No. What's today? I don't even know.
The 3rd or the 4th, something like that.
Yeah, it is the 4th. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got like 1 month left of the year. Crazy, right? Is everyone like, where the heck, what just happened? Because I'm like that. So yeah. Yeah. It's the last month of the year. So let's like end the year strong. If you haven't stuck to a program, like I was talking to Ashley today, started day 1 today, and I'm going all the way through to the end of the year. Like, not wait until January, not, dilly-dallying, like getting it done. If y'all have questions or need help with anything, y'all, you know where to find me. I'm here. And I'm sure Alyssa would be willing to answer any questions if y'all have any for her too.
Always.
So. All right. Well, I hope you have a great night. Thanks for getting on. Thank you, Alyssa. I really appreciate it. And I'll send you the video of this once I get it up. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Right. Bye, y'all. See some of you in the morning if y'all want to join. 5 a.m. See y'all there. Bye, guys.